Hi friends, it's Brittany Dinkin Papyrus and welcome back to my channel. Christmas junk journal season is here and I could not be more excited. This is my favorite time of the year. Because I love Christmas crafting so much, I usually end up making a Christmas junk journal or two every year. One of my favorite traditions is going back and looking through the junk journals of previous Christmases. It makes me really happy to reflect back on my fondest memories. It gives me ideas and inspiration for future crafting, and I can refresh my memory on what type of journals I've already made. I usually try and create something unlike what I have ever made. I realized last year most of my Christmas journals were predominantly red and green, so last year I created a chic pink Christmas journal. I absolutely love this. I haven't gotten to finish it yet. I'm hoping to this year. Anyway, the purpose of this video is to look back through different themed Christmas journals and give you a ton of ideas. So let's do that. I just grabbed myself a cappuccino. I am lighting my favorite Christmas candle. And we are about to delve headfirst into a ton of my Christmas journals for plenty of ideas and inspiration. You won't want to miss this. So first I want to talk cover ideas because I don't know, there's something about Christmas that just makes me want to go all out and get the most bedazzled, fancy covers going possible. So let's start with one of, I think, my favorite Christmas journal covers I've ever made, and this is the Christmas snow globe cover. All I did was print out, so this was obviously inspired by the Polar Express movie, and I printed an image of the Polar Express train online and sandwiched a see-through plastic container on top of it. And before I did that, I took some sequins and glitter and put it in the middle, fixed it right on the middle, and then took some hot glue, put it around the container, slap the container on. You don't want to shake it or move it until the glue totally sets. And then for some extra security, you can go around this with some ribbon or twine, put hot glue all around, and then wrap it around, and it stays put, holds the glitter. It gives you that beautiful snow globe effect. And I just made a base with some cardstock and put the raised leaf on it, and then decorated the outside with a couple little additions there. I could not be more pleased. Before I did all that, I just went through and kind of painted a starry sky, painted some Christmas trees. I just lined the spine with some fabric, and to make things a little bit more even and get rid of the, not just the edge there, but give it a little bit more sparkle, I put some trim along the edge of the spine. Put a couple of decorations. I think I had a little flub there. Yeah, I think the fabric didn't go nearly far enough over, so I just put some little snowflakes there to cover that little faux pas up. I guess I painted these little trees and snowmen, and it's very childlike. It's obviously nothing fancy. It's very like whimsical, but I don't know. I really love this cover. The other thing I love about this, I like this closure, which just wraps around. It doesn't attach to anything. I sewed the snow kind of ribbon with red stitching. And what else is notable? Oh, this is like the most bedazzled tassel that I've ever made. Anything you can ever imagine is literally on this tassel. I love putting jingle bells on my tassel beads, green and red buttons. The one thing that I really like the look of, you probably saw in my video intro, I like taking ribbons and poking little brads through them. And if you turn them this way, you can't even tell they're brads. These little pom-poms. I've been putting more and more applique and like trim in my tassels, so not just the small little cording that you put beads on, but actually like things like this. And I think it just like really gives the tassel some oomph, you know? Some pink buttons. I actually put the brads over buttons in this example. So there's so many things that you can do with tassels. I could talk about this for ages. Sorry, but the goal was to just kind of give you some cover ideas. So let's get on to my next cover. Don't worry, after we do covers, we'll talk embellishments and page layouts, and I hope to give you a ton of ideas by the end of this video. So unlike my previous cover that had a ton of kind of details and multiple steps, I'm showing you an example of a very simple cover here. All I've done here, I got this paper in a Michael's paper pack and I loved it, and I wanted to make a journal out of that red green tree vintage vibe, and I found this little doodad. It's not, maybe it was meant to be an ornament. I don't see a hole at the top. I think it was just one of those things, you know, the glittery, glitzy things you can put on whatever. And I chose to make it the focal point of this journal cover. I think I probably just hot glued it on. I don't really have a closure. I think maybe I thought about making a closure and started with this little silver bead and then decided not to. I don't know. This tassel is absolutely laughable. I think this is the first Christmas journal I've ever made. I had no idea what I was doing. I probably still don't, actually, if we're being honest. And I didn't know how to like fix it to the journal. So I just made a hole and I was like, oh, I could get two like little pieces of cording through here. And this was my sad little tassel because I just didn't know how to make a tassel. It's so easy, guys. Don't, you know, but you know, it is what it is. And in looking back, sometimes we get joy from looking back at things that we made when we were at the beginning of our journey and seeing how far we've come. And don't get me wrong, there's still pages, especially layouts in here that I find inspirational, and I look back on and think, oh my gosh, I totally forgot like that I even did that, or that you could do that. I think the purpose of this was to make like a raised spine, so I just took that like twine and glued some down. And here's the back. This is definitely, oh, I guess this is the closure. Kind of wraps around like onto this little bead, see? Oh, there we go. Okay. You know, leave something to be desired, but that's okay. It's cute. The inside is just more cardstock. I lined the spine with some fabric. And again, this is very, very simple, but there are still page layouts in here that I find inspirational. I remember vividly deciding on different signatures, and I have like a full like section that's devoted to food and Christmas goodies. So I thought that was so cool, and I still can't wait to show you guys what's inside. But let's get on to our next cover. Here is another Christmas cover. It's entirely basic. I decided not to add a tassel to this one. I decided when I did the spine, I added these poinsettias, and I thought it was so beautiful that I didn't want to cover it up. So that was just my prerogative. Again, this is a very simple cover. This cover is chipboard, and it is lined with some really pretty cardstock. I decided to sew over top of it for a little bit more detail. I love the sewed look personally. This is some embossed paper with some gold gilding wax and a stamp over top. Again, super, super, super simple. And I think I did think about doing some additional things. And then I was like, it just takes away from the simplicity and just this sort of vintagey, I don't know, like part of me, you know, I think some of the joy of Christmas is just The reason why we look back on Christmases so fondly is because of how simple life seemed. I think just a few years, 10, 15 years ago. And that's sort of the vibe that I get from this journal, is just simpler Christmases of the past. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just rambling at this point. Okay, also, like, minimal attempt at a closure here. This is just twine, which is coming undone. I actually need to rewrap this and maybe just put a little bit of hot glue down here. But a simple closure. I set an eyelet, which I think elevates it a little bit and kind of keeps this more secure. And all you do is tie a little ribbon around the old oak tree, tie a little bow here, and that's what we got. Again, so simple, but I'm in love with it. Let's move on to our next cover idea. This is a much softer cover. I believe this is packaging of some kind. I think it's like a really light thickness box, like something that I got from the store that contained a product. And I put some white fabric around it, and the box was thin enough that I was able to just sew directly over it. And I used a variety of stitches, and I did like very whimsical stitching, nothing that was ever meant to look perfect. I sewed on this trim here, put some poinsettias on. The front of this is actually a stocking gift card holder that I made. I will link that video in the description box if you're interested. Obviously this one I'm not using as a gift card holder. That's what they were made to be, but I made plenty of extra in my journals to act as pockets. And I just thought that a stocking was a really cute cover design. I guess the back of the cover doesn't really have anything. I don't have a closure on this one. Maybe I'll, just for purposes of keeping it shut, take some ribbon and tie it around. But I quite like this cover. On the inside, I stitched on a digital image of a poinsettia seed packet, put some recipe cards in here. There's something else in here, obviously. Oh, these cute little folios that I made. And we'll explore some of these journals later. I just want to kind of show you some covers. I have another Christmas folio in here in the front, and I guess in the back I have some postcards and another little, I guess that's not a folio, a little envelope that I made that I quite adore. I also have this lace. I love the look of lace at Christmas time. This see-through lace is fabulous. It's not something I would try and glue. It'd probably be pretty hard because you can really only glue down the large parts. These small little thin pieces, really tough to glue, and I just like the sewed look so much. Anytime I can put a little stitching on the cover, I really like to do that. So let's get to the last cover idea I want to show you. This is the journal that I made last Christmas, and it's unlike any other. I've never made a purely pink journal before. I'm so glad I did. I love the way this came out, guys. I used some chipboard. I put some pink papers. I sewed some applique. I glued some fabric to reinforce the spine. And what I did was I printed some digital images and I embellished them. And this just goes to show you, if you don't feel comfortable painting, or you're like, oh, how do I get a pretty design? Like, you can just print some digital images, do some stenciling. Look, like, you might think, okay, digital image, that's so boring. But I backed the digital image with some of that gold, sparkly glitter paper and put some white netting over it. And put like the little sentiment here. I glued the image to the netting because I just think it creates a really nice look. I put some of those embellishments and confetti glitter over the tree like you would garland in that same pattern. Put some pearls and some little blingy things there to decorate the tree, and put a brad on top as in the star. Put some of those snowflake things over top. This spine, I did create a small tassel, and I absolutely adore this tassel. I don't know if you can see, I have some trim, some jingle bells. I have some cute little charms here. I use a lot of trim and applique. I also have that I'd been hanging onto like this rhinestone kind of thing here that looks absolutely beautiful. This might be, oh, and pearls, of course. I thought it went so well with the pink theme. Now I'm all tangled up. You get the idea. But I just thought this was beautiful. I wanted to keep it a smaller tassel because I didn't want to steal away from, look at these pretty flowers. So these are just silver and pink flowers from, I think, Michael's. Glued them on top of each other, put some more bling bling things there, and did a similar style design on the back. Put a little rhinestone. I fixed the digital image to sort of, or I put that trim going through the hole up there to make it look like this little ball is kind of hanging from the cover, and put a little sentiment there. Put some tissue paper around it for another little gold like accent, and the closure was just sewn onto the front and the back cover. Very, very simple. Added some book edges, and yeah, I quite like this cover. I absolutely love, 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 love this. If you've never made a pink Christmas journal, I think that you should. At least one year. Oh look, and then the inside, I just used some more digital images and lined wherever, like the mark where I sewed this. So I sewed this to the front cover, and I wanted to cover up the stitching, so I hot glued some trim and then put some bedazzled things over top. I really, I did the same thing on the back, and I really like that look. So now that we've looked at a ton of cover ideas, I want to show you some ephemera ideas. So this here is really simple. It's just a CD case cover that is inked up, has some gold gilding wax around the center pocket. I think I did some inking here, or actually this is just a ripped piece of paper, some washi tape up top. It's really just a glorified pocket. But you know what? I love it a lot. This here is so simple. Just a belly band covered with fabric. What do I have here? Some glitter paper on the sides, a little candy cane, and some words. I just really liked it up against this background. Again, this is still my pink journal. We're just looking at embellishments. I did not do a whole lot of decorating. I kind of ran out of time last year, so I probably will be doing a lot of journaling in this journal this year. Little page tabs that make cute little embellishments. This paper right here is a digital printout, and I love the photo of this little angel girl so much. I don't really want to do a whole lot to it, so this is a simple way to add flair to pages that you may really like and you don't want to alter too much. Similarly, page tabs are a great way to announce the beginning of a new signature or just add some flair again to a page that has quite a bit of decoration. I know this deer looks a little bit evil. I was thinking about covering him up. My printer started running out of ink and I kept printing anyways, and so the saturation and things aren't quite right. He maybe looks a little rabid, but that's okay. I think it's the eyes. I'll go back in and give him some darker eyes, and I think he'll look a little vintage, and it won't look as pink as it should, but he won't have like the devil eyes. But look at these page tabs and trim, ruffles, another embellishment, simple little embellishment that you can use to decorate a page. A little tab up top. I don't even know what this is. Just a little paper bag tag with a little die cut on there. Some more tabs. Just such a great way to add flair to your page. Another one. I try and do them in different increments. So if I have one at the top, then I'll kind of move it down. And that way they're not all stacked on each other. And another tab right there. I love that trim. And another CD case. I think I glued this one in. Yes, I did. Oh, I love that. I love putting decorative pages in there, little angels. I love that. All right, let's look at some more little embellishments. One of my absolute favorite embellishments to make are Christmas cottages. So I have made these into paper clips. I've made them into pockets and tuck spots. This one I think is a flip up journaling card, so they're so versatile. And again, another great way to use up your scraps. You're just creating the base of a house and a slanted or whatever kind of roof you want to make, securing that to the top, using scraps for little windows, doors, planters, mailboxes, any accessory that you think a house may have. Perfect for a little Christmas cottage. There are so many ways to do little page tabs. And little sewn clusters. Another adorable altered paper clip that I made, that punched out house. I put some fake string lights and some little snowflakes, and I wanted to show you, I have a couple of embellishments on this page that I absolutely love. Look at this altered envelope. Like, this is absolutely adorable. So you have one of those windowed envelopes, and all I've done is add some pigment powder around the sides. I put some pretty decorative paper inside, some trim with some snowflakes, and then a bulb pin, a little bit of fabric, and some charms up top. And it kind of is like a little bookmark because, you know, the envelope's white. It's easy to journal on the back. I'm just loving these so much. Here's a scrappy belly band. I love this pink Santa thing. I have no idea where I got it, but I love it so much. Again, just scraps of paper sewn with some digital images and fabric embellishments. Just looks like pink Christmas vomited all over these two pages, and I could not possibly love it more. Is that not the cutest little Christmas cluster you have ever seen? Another favorite embellishment of mine, book page envelopes. Look how festive this is. This is festive as heck. This is just a book page folded a few different ways with some inked up doily, a little tag, some digital image. I sewed around it, put some cute little journaling cards in here. Oh, I love this so much. Another one of those altered envelopes. Oh my gosh. Look, look, look. And I made some stickled string lights. Oh wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is really putting me in the Christmas spirit, guys. Love. Another little Christmas cottage, but this is a gingerbread Christmas cottage. Look. I used a little Christmas cookie as the door, and the little cookies for the windows, and some gingerbread rooster for the top. Oh my gosh. And this is a little flip up. What did I write on here? Oh, I put a little recipe in here. Oh my gosh. I love this. Another fabulous little belly band. Another altered paperclip and the cutest altered envelope I think I've ever seen. Of course, I think that I made that. I made it after all. Oh, I guess I glued it to the page. Look at this polar bear envelope. Santa's Workshop, North Pole Circle. I did a bunch of stamping. I put the cutest little polar bear there. Give him a little scarf. See? I am no artiste. Look, and I somehow managed to make the cutest envelope with just some washi tape and a couple of stamps. Oh my gosh, isn't he cute? This is like my favorite altered paperclip. Look at the snow that I made with like that confetti glitter stuff, and I fussy cut out those ice skaters and put some blue sparkle washi tape to make it look like ice. Oh my gosh, I love this. Another altered window envelope, but this time before I sealed it, I put some glitter. So it's also a shaker envelope belly band. Look at that. Here's another one of those cute little gift card stocking holders I was talking about. I love putting, I've made a ton of them. There's so many different ways to customize them. Again, I think I put that video in the description box. The key is just adding some vellum to the shape of, you know, cutting out a stocking silhouette with cardstock and sewing some vellum on, and you can decorate the stocking however you would like. So many ways to customize it. Again, they make cute gift holders. All right, these are tea cards. I've made these before as well in a previous video. You know, it's one of the projects I actually save for the end of the season, because so often I'll just have little bits and bops that I have left over and I'm not sure exactly what to do with them. I love putting little sentiments on the back. They, you know, it adds a little bit of journaling room, not a whole lot. Usually I don't journal on them. They're so small. They're just like little bite-sized journaling cards. But like look at this little piece of washi tape I had left over. Normal people would throw that away, but I was like, oh, well, this is a perfect little snippet for a Christmas tea card. I like sewing them, putting little sentiments, little bits of fabric and trim and applique that I have left over. You know, free drawing things by hand, stenciling, ton of things that you can do. It is such a great scrap busting project. Maybe we'll make some more tea cards together come the end of the Christmas crafting season, when I have a ton of little scraps to use up. Again, perfect scrap buster project. Another Christmas gift card stocking holder. See the trim up at the top, and another tea card. Again, so many ways to decorate these tea cards. I think these are stamped Christmas trees. I decorated them with some gold stickles, some little bits of fabric, kind of to make some garland. Yeah, I love these so much. Here's another really easy belly band to make to embellish your journal. It is just sewn paper to make these like ruffles, but I wanted a little bit more texture to it, so I added some fabric over top and just added this little embellishment card. So oftentimes I think we get packets of embellishments that are pre-made and we feel like we're cheating. And there's so many other ways you can use them aside from just gluing them down to a page, which there's nothing wrong with doing that, but there's so many different ways you can use these to kind of reflect your own style and make it your own. Oh, I remember what this was. I made, yeah. So this is a little circle thing with a brad through, and the belly band opens up. It's just easier to store stuff that way, I think. And what's this? This is why I go through my journals, my Christmas journals every year, kind of at the beginning of crafting season, because I just find pieces of inspiration and projects that I wouldn't necessarily think to do, which sometimes you find projects you're like, oh yeah, I want to do more of that. I don't know, I guess I must have just punched out the houses for something. And so I was like, okay, I have this piece of paper with punched out stuff. I'll just add some cardstock behind it and some little Christmas trees and go around it and make a new little thing. Oh yeah, See, you never know. Just some extra journaling room. But yeah, now I remember. This is really cute. I very much like these. Every year I make some additional Christmas paper clips to use in my journals. This is one of my favorite functional embellishments. Obviously you need paper clips, and I have so much fun making these. Again, it's a great project to use up your little scraps. Here are just some people ice skating on a rink, and all I did was ink up and put some gold gilding wax on a stamped piece of paper that says memories, added a little gold trim at the top. Like, adorable, right? This embellishment here, this is the fold out book pages. It is a perfect way to store little cards you might not know what else to do with. It definitely gives you some extra journaling room. I guess there's one more fold out. I love these. I sewed all around these. I stickled them up. I put little digital images and bling. Again, if you have some extra little digital images you don't know what to do with, book page pockets are a fabulous way. I love decorating book page pockets with these digital images. Very, very simple, but very fun. And again, a great quick way to add some extra journaling room. See, I have another one here, a little brad with a circle punch, and you just open it up. I also have paper ruffles and some applique sewn over top. I do love this. I love the lace and the kind of cream theme. Okay, here's another embellishment. I love altered. I can tell right away this is an envelope. I love altering envelopes. Maybe we'll have to do some of those this year. I put some decorative paper in here. Yeah, I glued it down. These are, when you're making these, it's much easier to just cut the envelope to begin with and open it up so you can work with it inside and get that paper in without smudging glue over that little pocket. But again, like another great scrap buster. I love having a place where I can do some hidden journaling, stick it in here. You can alternatively make a bunch of these if you're giving away or selling your journals. It's a great way to put some embellishments in here to allow other people to decorate the journal with. So yeah, another cool, really, really nice embellishment. Sorry, I have to show you one more tea card. I love this. Again, like just busting through those scraps. This is washi glitter paper, some sentiments, some fabric scraps. Like, this is as simple as it gets, guys. But I love my little tea cards. Here's another altered envelope, and truth be told, this may be one of my absolute favorite ones. So, again, I opened it up to kind of get that paper in there and then sealed it back shut. I just layered a ton of different elements, very vintagey. Some of it's like the Tim Holtz worn wallpaper, some digital images from different digital kits, and just went around the window with some stickles. I just love inking or painting or doing something around the envelope to kind of accentuate. It's like, look at me right here. Just be careful not to smudge the window. But oh, and look, I even added a little pocket in the back for some journaling cards. I am in love with this altered envelope. And I have to show you these vintage postcards I made. This is one of my favorite embellishments to make. I think I say that about everything. Alright, this isn't really a postcard. This is just some stenciled, painted bulbs on some book page. I backed it with some dyed paper for some extra journaling room. These postcards are fabulous. So this was from a magazine, probably like Better Home and Gardens or something, and I just sewed around it, added some trim, a little sentiment here in the middle, and did some stenciling, some stamping, and added a little faux stamp, and you got yourself a postcard. I love making magazine postcards. This is some digital images, I also turned them, I guess, kind of into a postcard. I forgot the little faux stamp. I'll do that later, I guess. But really, you can make anything look like a postcard just by putting some kind of image on the front and making a line down the middle, writing or stamping postcard, and adding a little doodad up top to make it look like the stamp. Again, love, love, love these as embellishments. I could talk embellishment ideas with you guys for days, but now it's time to do some layout ideas. So this is such a simple layout. This is just trim, fabric trim here, and just 2 little pieces of paper with some washi over them. And it's just some extra journaling room right here. And I love the interactive element of it, the flip up. I'm loving it. I truly love this layout. I have a little decorative Christmas image representing every day up until Christmas, and they're all interactive. You can flip them open, and I was going to put a little trinket of something that reminded me of the day. I think I worked on this layout last year in the middle of December, so I said when I had a whole year, like a whole Christmas season, I would do like kind of like a really easy, brief version of a December daily, because I could never commit to journaling a whole page every day. But I really like these. They'd have to be cute little snippets, just represent maybe what you did that day. But I love this. This is like the Cheaters version, the Cheaters Advent version of a December daily. This is a recipe for eggnog, and I was inspired to do this. One year Trader Joe's had eggnog, like eggnog cartons on their shopping bags. So I thought, let's work it into a layout. So I just put a recipe there. And this is a washi swatch layout, which is another favorite, one of mine favorite, no fuss, low stress, just very soothing. And I just put a little pocket in front to tuck whatever you want under there. Here's a really fun and simple layout idea. Just crop, if you have digital images left over and aren't sure what to do with them, just crop them and put them on a page. Like I have Santa swinging by a sleigh bell, ho ho ho. I have another digital image that I use to create a pocket. Another one up front that I use to create a pocket with a little journaling card. So it doesn't have to be fancy, you know? It doesn't have to be fancy to be cute and functional. Speaking of swatching, this isn't a swatch page, it's like a collage page. But one of the other layouts I really wanted to do was instead of a washi swatch layout, was a wrapping paper swatch layout. That would be really fun. Just collect all the wrapping pieces of wrapping paper that you open presents in that year and just swatch it all over the page. That would be really fun. Here's another layout and embellishment idea. I love the fold over pockets. You see, I just cut out a divot in a piece of paper on each side, and I made some journaling cards to put in each of these. I love this. So these, this sticker right here, I took some labels, those printer paper like white labels, and just stamped some red ink with the dauber and applied some gold gilding wax and just wrote or stamped on each of them. Added some stickles, and I got like a whole sheet of quote-unquote Christmas stickers now that I can use. Another great way to just use up scraps. This is the other side of the pocket. Again, I just had fun collaging paper and adding little textured things, little pieces of fabric. I love these. Like I said, layouts don't have to be complex at all. I bound a Christmas card into one of my signatures, and I just made a fold out folio. I added some pockets, made some mini journaling cards, put a couple of tags, put an image in the middle, and added a big oversized pocket, collaged some stuff on it, and another kind of like collaged bookmark and tag here, and I think it is a great way to add some hidden journaling spots and just kind of create like another little interactive element for your journals. Here's another fun page layout idea. I took a stencil and put some modeling paste over it. I think this was actually paper bag. Yeah, this was definitely a paper bag originally. And I painted the background, and then I went over the blue with some modeling paste, and I left some of it blue to represent snow. I painted the upper portion blue, added some more color to the tree and the house, and yeah, a really simple, fun layout. This is another example of just an easy stenciled layout. I added a little pocket, a little tuck spot with some tea cards. Yes. Well, maybe they're not tea cards. They're just little journaling cards, I guess I printed, and I made little toppers for them. All right, so they're not tea cards. This is just a masterboard, some collage masterboard cutouts that I used to make pockets. I can tell you I was using up some of my scraps and little odds and ends at the end of the season, and then cut up my masterboard and made projects out of it the following year. This is another layout using some of that collaged sewn masterboard. And another tea card, see I lied. And I think this is a Christmas cottage here, most likely. Yes, another little Christmas cottage with some journaling room on the back. You know those little pieces that come in the cardstock packs, the paper packs? Well, I cut them out and used them to make kind of another Advent style layout, calendar layout. And basically I just use washi here so that they flip up. And again, we'll eventually commit to doing a December daily one year where I draw something or something that I did to represent that day. And that is another example of a really, really easy layout that you can do. Here is some more of it. I love these cute little flip ups. Heck, you don't need to have cardstock like with the numbers. You can either stamp numbers or write numbers yourself and create a very similar looking layout. And I left a whole big page for the 25th because I thought Christmas deserves its own page. This is nothing fancy at all. This is just stenciled pieces, some stenciled bulbs with some acrylic paint, and I just love the layout. I did a bulb and then a word to represent the season, and yeah, again, very, very simple. I added a little tab here and some trim. Here's a fun layout idea. This is a flip up, and all I did was take a piece of digital image and fussy cut out an image and sew them together with a little tab over top. I added like a little trim or a little piece of ribbon there, left some threads hanging, put some music paper under it. Just another quick, easy, but really pretty page layout idea. Another quick idea for you, just some collaged Christmas fabric, sort of quilted with little squares on top of each other and a doily in front as a pocket. Really, really fun, really, really easy. I love that paper clip. Look at this layout. I love this, like, I think this is that worn wallpaper, Tim Holtz paper. It actually feels like wallpaper. And I found this image from a paper pack. I fussy cut it out of a girl holding a bunch of presents and cut out the string lights and just fix them over top the image. I thought they worked so well together. Added some stickles to give it a little bit of dimension, added some stickles to her skirt. And honestly, I couldn't be more happy with this. And this is like the simplest layout ever. Here is a pocket just folded onto itself with a little gold trim and a digital image in front. I thought it just fit the picture really, really well. Let's look at a really simple layout. So this is book page, and I know that you guys probably have some book pages laying around that you don't necessarily want to alter or cut up. It was a little too big to bind into here, and I also didn't want to like cover it up. There was no like good way to fold this. It would have just resulted in Frosty being like, it wouldn't have made any sense. Like the little girl would have been cut in half. So basically all you do is hinge the book page to another paper, essentially. I just glued it, I folded it and left a little tab and just glued the tab and put some cardstock over it, and you can, you know, decorate the page a little. Here I put a snowflake, and you can kind of decorate it or journal, you know, under the page. But this is a great way to keep book pages intact and still have a really, really cute layout. This here is a really simple, no fuss layout. I saw this digital image of bells, backed it with some fabric, and thought, oh, maybe I'll just do some stenciling of some ornaments underneath it. Did a little collage down here. Really nothing to write home about, but for some reason I find it really pretty and satisfying. A really simple layout idea are layered pockets. So basically you glue one pocket to the page, you can kind of glue another tab over here, maybe another pocket over top, so you have multiple different pockets. And I just sewed a tuck spot over top, so now essentially you have 1, 2, 3, 4 little pockets or tuck spots to, you know, tuck things into. Here's another little tuck spot. You can always do some journaling or some stenciling or stamping under it, and it's a great little place to store my little tags here. I think this here is a really fun layout. It is just stacked journaling cards. These are actually digital images. They are digital images of wrapping, like old vintage Christmas wrapping paper. And so I just layered them on top of each other with some washi tape so they hinge up, and just did a little stamping. By the way, if you want to journal on these, sometimes it's easier to do it before you stick them to the page, but nevertheless, that's where we're at. And I like the look of stamping with multiple different inks on the stamps. I just thought the pink and the green worked really well together. I really like this. So guys, there's so much more I want to show you and share with you, but for the purposes of keeping this reasonable length, I'm going to stop there. I hope you got a ton of ideas for future page layouts and journal covers you'd like to create, and I hope this kicks off a wonderful Christmas crafting season for you. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more from Ink and Papyrus, please hit that like button, and I will see you the next time.